Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of the Prime Time Newscast in the English language on Canal International. I'm called Maureen. We'll begin with our top stories. The Northwest Regional Delegate of Penitentiary Administration, Kiga Tsudo, has been assassinated this Tuesday. The senior administrator is said to have been ambushed and killed today, April 12, 2022. Another Black Tuesday in Bamenda, Northwest region, as traders of the Cronull market in Yaoundé continue to cry over their huge loss after the demolition of the market by the council. The stranded traders are battling to grab a spot in the new temporary site, but the challenges are enormous. And the daily plight of street children in the major cities includes feeding, clothing, and shelter. In this edition, we provide you images on how the children are surviving in the streets of Yaoundé. Good evening once more. We begin on a sad note. Another Black Tuesday in Bamenda, Northwest, in the Northwest region of Cameroon, as a regional delegate for a penitentiary administration for the Northwest, Kiga Tsudo, killed by alert separatist fighters in Bui division on his way to Bamenda from Cambe. He was killed alongside 3 others. More in the following story.
For somebody to move from one place to the other, it entails special advancement. By
General Kiga Tsudo was last seen in public in Bamenda last Friday, presiding over the Epaulette Award ceremony of newly promoted staff.
For somebody to move from one place to the other, it entails special advancement by choice.
His voice and actions will no longer be seen in public as he was assassinated this Tuesday, April 12, alongside 3 other warders in his company by separatist fighters at the entrance to Kumbo as they returned from Cambe for the installation ceremony of the new registrar of the prisons in Cambe. They are reported to have been ambushed on the recently reopened Kumbo-Cambe roads, said to be frequently paraded by separatist fighters instead of passing through Magba, Bafoussam and back to Bamenda as they did on their away trip. His death has been widely condemned by all, with many unanswered questions as the crisis keeps degenerating. Traders of the Cronull market in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, continue to cry over a huge loss after the demolition of the market by the council. The stranded traders are battling to grab a spot in the new temporal site, but the challenges are enormous, as we hear in the following story with our reporter, Haisencha.
They are in the full construction process here at the new site. The area highly marshy and many still battling with water to put up a shed.
As you can see, I'm suffering to carry ground, transfer ground from right up there down here. It's not an easy task, and when it is raining, everywhere is muddy.
After spending heavy sums of money on the process already, many are told to stop in what seems like a total misfortune.
They have already spent more than 100,000 for the construction that I've been doing since last week Monday. So they are telling us that we don't have a right to construct there, but the market where they sent us is full. So we are trying to occupy space beside. They say we don't have any authorization to do some construction there.
The traders question why the council will send them out of the market to a new site which is yet to be constructed.
They did not even construct the market where they sent us there. No construction. Everywhere there is lumber, water at some places there. So it has not really been easy for us since that last week that drove us from that Ekunu market.
And according to the mayor of Yaoundé 4, he is conscious of the difficulties, but says the site is temporary while the council embarks on the construction of a modern market at the demolished site. I have told them clearly that it is a temporary site. Work on the main market will last for a period of 1 year. So after a year, they will be reintegrated into the modern complex. Though a difficult situation for the market men and women, there is, however, good news in terms of the payment of market dues.
Non seulement la gratuité.
The site is free of charge. Throughout the time they will be there, no one will pay a single franc to the council until the new market goes operational.
Ça aussi, c'est faire du social.
But with the state of the temporary location, many wonder how they will survive the frequent floods as the heart of the rainy season approaches.
Inhabitants of Bamba have continued to decry the demolition of their houses, which has rendered them homeless. They are they are baffled that despite their cry over the weekend on the demolition of about 5 houses, the act still took place today in a drastic manner. They say they are certain that a man Bichaka has claimed ownership over the territory for a long time, and now it should be noted that the demolition is a feat of its kind in that part of the country. We'll certainly come back to that in our subsequent editions of Newscast. The plight of street children in major cities include feeding, clothing and shelter. These vulnerable say they find themselves on the street because of lack of parental care, neglect from family members, among others. On the commemoration of the International Day of Street Children this April 12, a reporter Udmu Kusomi has been talking to some street children in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. Her story.
Sleeping on plywood, shirts on the floor and streets with no food is the daily routine of these street children living at Columbia or Colombie, as it's known in French in Yaoundé. Children coming from different areas in search of work find themselves in this kind of situation.
I came here to look for work that can permit me work in my village. I am looking for work that can help me be a good person in future. I'm here since 2 years in search of work, but I have not gotten one. Times I search for iron and sell just to have something to eat. We are suffering, as you can see. We are living here. Some look for iron, while others work in town just to feed ourselves.
Some street children refute the belief that they are thieves. They say they work to have their daily bread.
Voice over 2. I wash cars at the 20th May Boulevard. I'm not a thief. I work with my own strength. Among us, there are a lot of people working with their power, but we lack means and help. People see us like animals. But if only the government could take action, we would have been here.
According to the head of these street children living at Colombia, there are a lot of intellectuals within them, willing to become great people tomorrow, but faces a lot of obstacles like lack of financial means, support and many others. They live in harmony among themselves. There is an ordinary level graduate, Shu Menda, one who had the forestry competitive exams last year. These to show they are all humans like any other person.
The heavy rains in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, has left many stranded and has produced potholes, making life difficult for commuters. So inhabitants have been engulfed by floods and find it difficult to get to work. Hysen Cha paints a picture of Yaoundé when it rains heavily. His story.
A nightmare after heavy rains at this part of the road here added to the market in Yaoundé. The potholes getting wider and deeper putting drivers and inhabitants into a very difficult situation.
On a du mal de voir les manettes glisser, les voitures qui créent beaucoup d'embouteillages.
Franchement, comme vous-même pouvez le constater là, ici le matin c'est plus grave que vous voyez en journée là. Tu sors de chez toi, tu fais même 1 heure de temps à l'embouteillage que tu ne parviens pas à rouler.
Same image in other parts of the capital city like Mokolo and Oyomabang. And here at the Olembe neighborhood, south of the sports complex, the rain has completely cut off this bridge. Access to both ends practically impossible. Only the brave can beat fear to cross over using this single plank.
People don't pass for here for go school. Let me say they pass for play for start. Then turn so before they reach for school. All man were there for here is so far.
This is part of the bridge carried away by the rain and dumped beside these residents. Flood so regular here after every rainfall.
Inundation we are all place. Now water.
There is a small rain, nobody can stay. The people leave from here to go and visit the others so that they can stay.
These newly constructed roads, inhabitants say, is both a blessing and a curse to them.
With the route, we are happy. But what the government have done, we think again that it was better to remain as how we was. Because we did not have a problem of water in this quarter. But now we have a problem of water.
Notwithstanding, the denizens explain they deploy regular collective efforts to regulate the inconveniences, but often faced with limitations.
Every after 2 weeks, on Sunday, like Sunday yesterday, we always come and work with our hands. That's why you see this place that we have put it in our work yesterday, all this place, right to that level.
Their biggest fear remains the state of this other bridge, which is equally at the verge of collapse if something is not done before the heart of the rainy season.
The rains have come, so too are mangoes. The edible stone fruits is slowly but steadily making its way into the market, but the prices for now are far from the reach of the common man. Usmu Kusumi completes that story for us.
At the Frundi market in Yaoundé, retailers say they buy a carton each for 25,000 francs, divide into heaps of 500, 1,000 and also 2,000 francs to be able to maximize profits. Though consumers massively go for the precious fruits, they decry the high prices.
They are expensive because I bought 6 mangoes for 1,000 francs, but I have no choice because I need fruits for my fasting.
According to nutritionists, mangoes are very rich and good for the body. Mangoes contain a lot of nutrients. It helps in digestion. Very rich in vitamin C. That helps for the body and skin. It is also good for those people having cancer. They contain vitamin A and B, in which they are also very good for vision. The nutritionist refutes the common belief that first mangoes give malaria by saying that it is not mangoes that give malaria, but the hygienic part of it. And as such, caution Cameroonians to eat fruits with moderation and make sure they are washed properly before consuming to avoid any situation that can lead to cholera.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast, the English language on Canal the International. Thanks so much for watching. We have news in the French language at exactly 19:50. We are Leng Gislaine Kanga, but coming up next is the brief with Lil Piaget. So we'll be back same time tomorrow. Good night.